Since the involvement of NASCAR superstars Dale Earnhardt Jr., Kevin Harvick, Jeff Burton, and Justin Marks, the notoriety of the Cars Tour and its competitors has skyrocketed. The racing speaks for itself because it's true, grassroots, hard-nosed late model racing at its best. And we're here to bring that action to light. This is On Tour. Welcome back to On Tour. My name is Buddy Pulley, joined of course by my co-host, lead Cars Tour reporter for frontstretch.com, Chuck Folsom, or as we know him on this channel is Chip. Wait, I said that backwards. You guys know the bit. Anyway, what's up, Chase?
What's up? Do you guys like my new room? I am just kidding. It's not mine. Could never be. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Anyway, I'm good. I'm happy. I'm excited about Florence this weekend, but we have a different race to talk about first.
Yes, we do. My home track.
Wake County Speedway.
Wake County Speedway. If you guys didn't listen to the episode last week or don't know already, I live in Raleigh, North Carolina. So having a car store race in my hometown is pretty lit. It's pretty awesome. I actually had never gone to Wake County Speedway in all my years of being a race fan until last year at the car store race.
And he calls himself a race fan.
I know. It's America's favorite bull ring, and I can see why. As tight as that little place is, it races really well.
Extremely. And it's deceivingly banked, actually. I didn't realize how banked it was until we walked on the racetrack afterwards. So last year was my first time there as well. I'm not from Raleigh, so that doesn't make me a casual. But they did a repave last year. Last year was the first race on the new pavement, I guess, for the Cars Tour, and it raced really well. Progressed again this year. I'm curious to see how it continues to progress. As banked as it is, you would almost think, like Seth mentioned, actually, that the top groove would work.
Yeah.
But it's just like it's so small, I guess. That,
You know, it reminds me of when you take a piece of paper. See if I can demonstrate. If you take a piece of paper and you try to curve the bottom of it, if you know what I mean,
yeah.
and you get that kind of in and out like
Mhm.
I don't know, a roller coaster or something.
Exactly.
That's what it reminds me of.
But it's a cool
And
little place. It's got some really cool camera shots if you can make it happen because there's no like gaps for photography. So
yeah,
you basically have to take a picture over the fence. Well, they run right by the fence because that's where the wall is because there's not very much room
yeah,
there. So you
yeah,
basically take your phone and or camera or whatever you use, and I was using my phone this week. You hold it over the fence like down, and they just drive underneath it, and it gives you some really cool camera
yeah.
shots actually.
Yeah, no, it was really cool. I mean, because obviously the infield is raised a little bit too. So you're standing in the infield and you're looking down at the cars going by. It's a really, really cool view. Just overall, a really nice facility too. Like it is one of the nicer facilities on the schedule that's not like a Dominion or a Wilkesboro. It's one of the nicest local short tracks I've ever been to. So if you are in the Raleigh area, come on through. Go to a weekly race at Wake County. You might see some of the names you'll see in the results later.
Yeah, the only knocks I have on it are, well, number one, it's so small that your concession options are very limited.
Yes.
But I
They
don't
had
know.
snow cones.
They did have snow cones. That always gives people brownie points, but their parking situation.
Thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah.
This was this was the most, pardon my French, head ass way of parking that I've ever experienced in my 20 plus years of going to racetracks. Um, so the way they had it, they wanted you to come in and be parked going out of the facility, which okay, makes sense. You don't want everybody having to turn around and go out the facility because it is basically one way in to Wake County. Um, but the way they did it is instead of instead of parking people at the front or at the closest to the exit
The
and then
exit.
working your way back, they parked people at the back and you had to come around and park in front of the line of cars that was there. So it was the biggest clustercluck you've ever seen in your life, and it made it exponentially. It made it take exponentially longer to get into the
Yeah.
racetrack.
Essentially, instead of just driving in and doing a loop to face the exit, you had to pull in and like back in. And, there's a lot of people that don't know how to park, much less park backing up.
Yeah,
Uh,
Seth Dolby was
so
driving us, and he does not know how to park to save his life. So it was a real fun time for us.
but we just sat like there was way too much room there for us to be sitting at the
It
entrance
was,
like we
yeah,
were.
it was. It's those kind of things that unfairly give racetracks a bad name. That's just something that does need to get cleaned up there at Wake County. And if you know what, if I'm being completely honest, it's a Raleigh thing. We do things a little messed up around here. Like I'm not gonna lie to you.
The rest of the state has known that for a while.
Yeah, okay. I'm glad.
You know what?
But
I bet them parking people are good buddies with the safety crew at Caraway.
it might be the same people. Let's be
Oh
honest.
God,
Yeah,
no!
yeah. I don't
If they were
know.
the same people, they would have flipped one of the cars over trying to park and then looked at it for half an hour.
Yeah, they. I digress. Anyway, so yeah, Wake County always a fun time. Excuse me, I just turned you down, Chuck. Wake County, oh, like I said, always a fun time. Sorry, I didn't want to hear you no more. Let's take a look at the results from Wake County Speedway this past weekend. Taking a look at the results from the Drive for Purrier 125 at Wake County Speedway, it was Landen Lewis scoring his first career Cars Tour victory. Trayton Lapsevich came across the line in the second position, and runner-up in the standings, Butterbean, rounds out the podium. Minnie Tyrell has yet another top 5 finish, finishing in the 4th spot. Ryan Millington finishes 5th. Pole sitter Mason Bailey comes across the line in 6th. Carson Hayslip, the local hero, finishes in the 7th position. Cade Brown finishes 8th. Landon Huffman 9th. And Holden Hadcock rounds out your top 10. Points leader Connor Hall had an off night. He ends up finishing in the 11th position. Clay Jones finishes 12th. Brandon Pearson 13th. Brent Crews, after dominating the 9th, finishes in the 14th position. Isabella Robusto was sent to the rear after contact with Brent Crews. She finishes 15th. Buddy Alves Jr. finishes 16th. An off night for the 8 car of Caden Quapple. He finishes in the 17th position. Daniel Buchanan finishes in the 18th position. And Deke McCaskill, the hometown hero, unfortunately had an early exit to the race and finishes 19th. So as you saw there, Landen Lewis scored his first career Cars Tour victory, and I believe that's the first win for the 62 car since KHI has been back in late model racing.
Yeah, because
All
Josh
right.
didn't win any of the non-cars events at the end of the year, the North Carolina, South Carolina stuff. So
Yeah, and Lane Riggs, he crossed the line first, but he did
he
not
did
win
not win the
Caraway
race.
last year. So yeah, Landen Lewis gets the win. It was none without controversy though. He had a little contact with his teammate Brent Crews.
I want to hear your thoughts first, actually.
Okay, all right, that's fair.
Only because of the
I'm gonna
diecast that are sitting behind you.
okay, yeah. Newsflash. I was a very big Kevin Harvick fan, so a small piece of my heart lives within those 2 cars of the 62 and the 29. Obviously, Brent's running for the championship. Maybe take what I say with a grain of salt, but I'm gonna quote the great Darrell Waltrip and say, "I don't care who you are, that was just wrong." I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't like that at all. You got Brent Crews running for a championship. You got him not only running for a championship, he's dominated this race, and he is about to have a huge points day. Like he's about to gain so much ground on Butterbean and especially Connor Hall. Connor Hall did not have a great night. So this points battle was about to tighten up even more. And really, and I get it, dude. You're trying to go for your first win. That's fine. You got the faster car. Go up there and take it, man. Nudging Brent out of the way in turn 1. Okay. Getting into him into turn 3. Again, Okay, maybe Brent should take the what's the old saying? Something something is the better part of valor.
I have no
Maybe
clue.
yeah,
You got me there.
maybe Brent should take that. You go down into turn one and you pitch it in there and knock your teammate out of the way. That leads to your teammate getting wrecked in the next corner. Obviously, Landon didn't know that Brent was going to get wrecked down in turn three, but he definitely didn't make sure he didn't get wrecked down in turn three, and he did not set him up for success. He did not treat him like a teammate. He did not treat him like a driver running for a championship. I was not a fan of the incident.
So in the moment, I was kind of like, okay, that ain't right. I've gone back and I've watched it a couple times. So he nudges him up uh going into one. And then
Yeah,
going into three, it was kind of the Brent actually cleared him. But Brent did not get a good exit off of four at all. And that's what allowed Landon to get
yeah,
back to him and one again. That's when he knocked him up a little bit. And going into three, Landon was honestly there, and Brent drove it down in there and parked it. I mean, rightfully so. He's trying to clear him, but
yeah,
at the same time, if you're going to park it like that, the guy behind you, no matter who it is, has the right to nudge you back up.
yeah.
And when they crossed it,
And that right there though is where if I was Brent Crews, I would be like, okay, you can have it, man.
yeah,
And
well,
in a way, he did. He gave Landon room in turn one.
yeah, and I mean, they were dead even at the stripe. And I honestly, what I kept circling back to is I do not think there was any malicious intent from Landen Lewis whatsoever. I think that was a guy who, in his selective part time starts in that car, has not had a good season at
No,
all.
no.
And he is fighting for his future in this top ride.
Yeah.
And he sees an opportunity in front of him. It doesn't matter what level of motorsports you're in, wins solve everything. It, seconds don't solve a damn thing. Wins solve everything.
Yeah.
And he saw a win in front of him. And I don't think he meant to hit Brent like that. I genuinely think he saw a win and he overshot it.
Look,
And at that point,
here's the thing. You hit the nail on the head. Landon Lewis has not done what Landon Lewis was probably expected to do in that 62 car this year. Let's just be blunt with it.
I mean, he is making a transition from
Hang on,
but
hang on, hang on. He, what would have spoke volumes. Is that the saying? I don't know. Who cares?
yes,
Um,
close enough.
yeah, would have been him going out there and either taking the win from Brent straight up clean, or if you can't do it clean, run second. You had your best run. You're running behind your teammate who's going for a championship. You did that. That right there, it is speaks volume. By the way, journalist over here. That right there, though, that proves, hey, I can do this. But you get in that position, and the first time you're in that position, and you get overzealous, and I don't think there was any malicious intent either. I honestly don't. But in a way, it seemed like the dog kept running after the mail truck. He's running after it, running after it, running after it, and as soon as he catches it, you don't know what to do with it. And that's the thing I had a problem with it. Is yeah, it rubbed
Well,
me the wrong way. But you know what? That's
it,
racing.
I'm gonna again. This is might be the best debate we've ever had on this show. I'm gonna come to his defense again and say this isn't the nat is as high of a standard as we hold the Cars Tour to. This isn't the Cup Series. Guys haven't been there and done that before, and you got to be there and do it wrong before you learn how to do it right. And he probably thought in his mind, if I can drive it 10 feet farther into the corner than I have all night, I'll get position on him and I'll clear him. And he might have drove it 15 feet farther into the corner and missed the corner. And that one little mistake turns into a really big deal when your teammate gets wrecked 10 seconds
Yeah.
later. A-
And
And
yeah,
I think he's a really talented driver. And I think, honestly, I think winning this race either way is going to do good for him. It's a shame it didn't play out the way we all wanted it to, but he did everything right up to that moment.
yeah.
And then he made a mistake.
To kind
It
of
happens.
close this out, and I will concede a little bit. The optics of it are not in his favor, just for the simple fact that, if that would have been the move and Brent would have ended up finishing second, third, whatever, this doesn't get talked about. It makes it even it the optics of it are way worse just because Brent ended up in the wall. And also the fact that Brent has such poise and is so young. And I think you kind of did hit the nail on the head. This is not the NASCAR Cup Series. This is the car store. This is, guys, getting their feet wet in high level late model racing. So I look at a guy like Brent Crews, and as much as I would like someone like him to be the standard, that's maybe too high of expectation. And so I'll give Landon that at least. So we did talk to Landen Lewis and Brent Crews about the incident. So let's hear. Landon was pretty happy about it. Happy about the night. Brent not so much. Let's hear what they had to say.
We go to that next to last restart. Just walk me through that because it ended up with your teammate in the wall in 3 and 4.
Yeah, we had a really good start getting into one. The 77, we all got in there really hot, and the 77 got into me, which I was already kind of nose to tail to Brent, and then that caused me to get into Brent. Got down the backstretch, had a little bit in the game, skin in the game, and I decided to kind of fall out of that because I was 3 wide on the bottom. It didn't really make much sense. So then Brent kind of got into 3 pretty hot, and it kind of left the door open for me, and I drove down into 1. I had a little bit of a fender there, and then he tried to get down, which obviously I get it, right? We're going for the win, and we're under 10 to go. Everyone's going to try to get down, and I was unfortunately there at the time and got him free, which led us to be side by side again down the backstretch, and then we got into 3, and I got into him a little bit when he come down, and then that's when I guess the 55 finished him off. So when the caution come out and I seen who it was, I was pretty upset, honestly, because to see 2 KHI cars in the top 3 and have the best cars here was definitely an accomplishment for sure. And having me being at the shop and working on them every week, it's pretty cool to see that success and hard work come into play.
Had the dominant car tonight at Wake County, but she ended up in a late accident and ended up 14th. Just walk me through the accident from your perspective.
Yeah, not going to complain too much. I think we had a really dominant race car. I just want to give all the glory to God. Wouldn't be able to do this with the great Lord above. And this Mobile 129 Toyota Camry was super fast, and that's all I can say. And for everybody who watched the race, I'll give you your point of view on it, and you can take your word over mine. But felt like we just got pretty badly wrecked there. But just happy to be able to have the speed to be able to race up front every week, and I'm grateful for the opportunity. And I just can't thank my guys enough at KHI Racing and everybody at Toyota. And I'll see you guys at Florence next week.
Is there any added frustration that all that started with the teammate?
Yeah, 1,000%. I'm going to be honest with you, for sure. Tough when everybody works in the same shop and works so hard on this thing, just for it to get tore up like that. But, I mean, it is what it is, and we'll bounce back, and you'll see us back here, and we'll be good. So I'm not too worried about it. Going to keep our heads high, and just happy we had a race car able to compete for another win.
So with the incident Saturday night, it does set Brent Crews's championship hopes back a little bit, but not too much. He still ended up with an okay night, finishing 14th, and now he is just 16 points out of the lead. But the top 2 got a little bit closer. Connor Hall had an off night, finished 11th, as you saw in the results, and Butterbean finished 3rd. And we're doing it for Dale. There's only 3 points that separate the 2 Langley track champions from each other. Chuck, this championship battle is far, far from over.
Yeah, it's like it's almost too good to be true, right? Because you got those 3 guys are 16 points apart, and I'm going to throw Minnie Tyrell in there because he's only 27 back. And with 4 to go last year, Butterbean was farther than that from Carson, and he only lost by 5 points. So he is, if any of those 3 stumble and have a bad night, and he has the nights that he's continued to have, he's right up there with him.
Yeah.
It's all, like I said, it's almost too good to be true, because it's like you want it to come down to this, but it's like, man, it's still got to play out like this for 3 more weeks before we have a last race championship battle. And I'm going to, this may sound bad. I'm almost like, I'm going to phrase this properly. I'm almost disappointed that Wilkesboro is the championship race just from a racing standpoint. Because if it comes down to it in points at Wilkesboro, we're not going to. The track, the atmosphere is there, the facility's there, but the repave is not quite where it needs to be for late model stock cars yet.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a track position. It's going to be just like Phoenix, man. I know.
Look,
but
man.
It's really, really good. Butterbean's this is his 4th top 5 in a row. Minnie's reeled off 4 top 10s in a row, 3 top 5s, might even be 3 podiums.
Yes.
It is 3 podiums. That's right. They're on fire, and Brent's been feast or famine. They've finished 14th or worse in 3 of their last 5 and won the other 2.
Yeah, he's
and
faster.
Connor, he is faster.
Brent's faster.
And then
go
Connor's just
ahead.
hanging on at this point. Like, he's like, man, I just got to put one of these races together, and
You
they
know-
haven't done it in a little while.
That's very true. Also for Brent, Wake County, despite the result, probably the best race he's put together this entire year.
Yes.
I mean, from start to finish, the best race he's put together, and that is as fast as I've ever seen that 29 car this season.
Well, maybe Orange County, but
that's true. Yes.
They're-
Butterbean, yeah. Butterbean, though, he's got to be licking his chops coming into Florence. South Carolina 400 winner. Like,
and we're back on the F45s.
Thank you for bringing that up. You took the words right out of my mouth.
That was his tire.
We don't do picks on this show, but I'm picking Butterbean, dude. I mean,
he's got to be the favorite.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I will throw. Well, we're not talking about him right now. We'll talk about that when we preview Florence.
Yeah.
But I just kind of want to tie the tire into this. Obviously, the ST2s have not been what Hoosier or the Cars Tour hoped they would be. For people that don't know, out of the 18 cars that showed up, 19, by the way, sorry guys for saying Minnie wasn't on the entry list. He wasn't, but he forgot to do it, and he was there. He told us he forgot to do it, so it's not entirely my fault. Out of the 19 cars there, they got 6 different tire codes. Well, they all race differently.
Yeah.
And they're sometimes a second and a half difference.
And that's,
just
yeah.
It's a problem. And that is severely had a say in this championship battle. Like, that was the single reason Butterbean ran basically dead last at Orange County.
Yeah.
So now back on the F45. Sorry, I'll wrap this up in a second. But now back on the F45s, we're on a new old playing field. Like, everybody's got to get reacclimated to the tire. Minnie wasn't the greatest the last couple of years on it. How's he going to do on it? Connor hasn't been in this car on the F45s.
Brent's never run that.
Brent's
F45s.
never really been on the F45s. And then you got a guy who dominated places like Florence on the F45s, and Butterbean, he's all of a sudden like in the Cadberg seat, I feel like.
Yeah, absolutely. No, you hit the nail on the head there. It is, man, we say every week, this championship fight's not over because a wrench gets thrown in it every single week. Something happens. Last week, it was Brent Crews. The week before, it was at Ace, it was Connor and Butterbean slipping and Brent capitalizing. This week, we got a whole damn new tire. The entire series has been flipped upside down, and the door has been flung wide the hell open. There's no walls to this race, to this championship.
Well,
and
there's
that's
no
funny
walls
because
to
we're
this
going to Florence.
Ask Doug Barnes about that. How many times did he fly off turn 1 in the 400 last year?
A couple of, yeah. But anyway, championship battle, like we said, it just keeps heating up, and you never know what is around the corner.
Yeah, I think the craziest thing for me about Butterbean, and I think we have an interview to play with this, but he went from, in the beginning of the year, they couldn't put runs together.
Yeah.
And then they figured it out, and they reeled off a couple dominant wins, and there was a
Yeah.
couple others that should have been dominant wins. And now that's tapered off into just consistency. They have just been churning away top fives ever since he went air bean at Caraway and
Yeah.
took flight on the back straightaway. They have not finished outside the top five, and consistency has been the key for him. So it's fascinating to see how that team has evolved throughout the year.
Butterbean is certainly locked in. Like you said, we did get an interview with Butterbean about that very topic. Let's hear what Butterbean had to say.
Earlier in the season, you guys were reeling off dominant wins, but now it's kind of changed to more consistent top fives. It's your 4th top 5 in a row. Are you fine with results like this as long as it keeps you in the championship battle?
You know, we want to win, like I was talking about earlier. We want to win, but now I think we got to start really thinking about consistency after the points we gained tonight. Not sure where the 22 finished, but I heard it was back there, so I think we closed it into single digits for sure.
I said last week I thought Brent Crews was the favorite for this championship, and I'm sorry, I'm going to be a bit of a fair weather reporter here. I think the championship is swung in Butterbean's favor, especially with the new tire. We're going to get a word from frontstretch.com, and when we come back, we're going to preview one of the biggest races of the year, the Cookout 225 at Florence Motor Speedway. Frontstretch.com is where you'll find all your racing content in one place for free. They have it all from NASCAR to F1 to IndyCar, grassroots racing, and even iRacing. Front Stretch has you covered with daily news for every series, weekly columns, and even on-site coverage at every NASCAR and Cars Tour event. Head over to frontstretch.com, subscribe to their YouTube page, and give them a follow on X to get your daily fix on all things motorsports.
As always, big thank you to frontstretch.com for allowing us to use the content that we use in this channel after I go to the racetrack for them. Thank you to them for even allowing me to be credentialed at the racetrack and getting all the car store content we get. We started a new Fan of the Week segment. Met some guy at Wake County. He was our first ever Fan of the Week. Go check it out on Front Stretch Grassroots.
That guy was awesome. Let me tell you.
He was a pretty funny guy.
Yeah.
For all your car store content, go to frontstretch.com in the short track section or Front Stretch Grassroots on YouTube. And for all your NASCAR and IndyCar stuff, frontstretch.com and the regular Front Stretch YouTube channel. And be sure to check out what we're doing over here as well. I think we have some new exciting things coming up soon.
We certainly do. I got some news to share at the end of the episode. But before we get there, Florence, Chuck, this is a perfectly placed race on the schedule. And you're about to figure out why. We moved the Florence race to the weekend of the Southern 500, and it has brought out the stars. Dale Earnhardt Jr. is back in the Sun Drop number 3 car. Kevin Harvick lied to yo ass at Wilkesboro and said he was not running the car store the rest of the year. Like I just said, he lied. He is going to run the car store, but not a late model stock. He will be in the Rackley War number 62 Hunt Brothers Pizza Chevrolet in the pro late model race. And Rajah Caruth is running the late model stock race.
And
Chuck,
Josh Berry, but we don't even get excited about him anymore.
I don't want to say I didn't
so
get
much.
excited about Josh Berry.
He's here so much.
But yeah, it was kind of a given. Josh Berry in the 62 car at Florence. It's kind of a match.
We're also going to get Bubba Wallace in a Legends car as well.
That's true.
So
That's
I think
true.
Keelan's running too. He should be.
And I think we may have another rendition of Not Dale Jr. calls a legend car race. So watch out for that.
Oh,
if you guys haven't watched that video from Caraway, please give that a watch as well. Chuck, let's handicap the Florence race this weekend.
Handicap it. You just lost me.
You don't know what that means?
No.
Okay, it kind of means let's break it down. Okay,
why? Anyway, so Florence, really worn out racetrack. They're gonna actually have to save tires this weekend because the F45s. There's something guys haven't had to do in a little bit. So automatically you look to who was good in the 400 last year, who was good in the icebreaker this year. Well, I got news for you guys. That number 3 car was good in both of them.
Yeah. And that number 3 car
is the number 8 car.
There you go.
If you guys read the entry list, there is no Caden or Carson Quapple.
Yeah.
Because Dale said, I want the A team this week, the 8 team this week, and they slapped a number 3 on it. I'm going to say it. This is Dale's best shot. I tried to say chance and shot to win a late model stock car race that he's had since he retired and came back to it, and maybe will have for a while.
His best shot at a late model stock win in 30 years.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
he's been really good there. Cade Brown is a sleeper this weekend. They have struggled. If they didn't have bad luck, they'd have no luck at all this year. But he won the 400 last year. They were really good at the end of the year on the F45s. This could be where they turn it around. Josh Berry's always good on them. Butterbean. I mean, Connor Hall finished second in the icebreaker to Carson Quapple in February. So those are the guys you look to. Same with the pro late model race. We haven't seen them there since, I guess, last March when the car show was last there. And I'm so happy they put it this weekend, because when I was making schedule predictions in one of my articles for Front Stretch last year, I said that this would be a perfect move, just like NASCAR does with Wilkesboro, because it's 15 minutes down the road from Florence to Darlington. And I
think it's for us. We're going to be perfect for us.
I mean, I would be shocked if 95% of the people at Florence on Friday aren't at Darlington on Saturday and Sunday, or vice versa.
Absolutely.
I mean, not exactly, because not everybody at Darlington gets Florence.
So what I'm hearing,
but you get what I'm saying. Big deal. Cookout's a sponsor. I think I get my free cookout tray this week. Is that happening this week?
Yeah.
Better.
That's happening. Yeah. Darn it.
Yeah, I'll be watching the YouTube channel for that too.
Yeah, we'll have to cover that. So what I'm hearing, top 3 to look out for: Cade Brown, Butterbean, Dale Earnhardt Jr. If that's your top 3, you heard it here first.
Book it.
Yes.
We don't condone sports betting. 100% don't. We do.
Why not?
We do condone sports betting.
Why not? It's legal in North Carolina. I don't know if it's legal in South Carolina.
That's why I'm not taking any chances. I don't know if it's legal in South Carolina.
Yeah. All right. Well, what's your question of the week, Chuck?
Man, I was honestly so excited to talk about the entry list this week. I don't know that I have one. Give me a second.
All right. Well, you think of one and I'll share some news. So thanks to you guys and all the success of On Tour. I am officially credentialed by the car store starting this weekend at Florence Motor Speedway. And that's all I can say is just thank you to you guys, because without you and your support for this show, this wouldn't be a possibility. Late models have become a new love for me, and I have enjoyed this show week in and week out. I've enjoyed learning more about late model stock racing and specifically the Cars Tour, and I will look forward to covering it for years to come. This is just the beginning of On Tour. This is just the beginning of the Big Motor Small Blade YouTube channel. It feels really good to, it's the 3-year anniversary of us starting this YouTube channel, Seth and I. And it really does mean a lot to know that, all that work we put in is being recognized, and that I'll have the opportunity to, get some even better content for you guys and bring it to the next level.
All right. On that note, and yes, we do appreciate everybody's support here, helping get Buddy credentialed. Obviously, I appreciate all the support on the Front Stretch side that keeps our content moving. Anything we can do, because it's not about us. It's about growing the sport of late model stock car racing.
Absolutely.
Getting it to a wider audience and showcasing not just the racing, but the drivers that are involved in this sport, the ones that are about to go through the NASCAR ranks, so you get to know them quicker, and the guys that are going to be lifers in late model stock cars. We want you to know all of them. So for that, I will speak for both of us again and say thank you. And now I have a question of the week.
Before you do that, I say in the intro every week, the racing speaks for itself. They don't need us. So it's nothing less than an absolute privilege to get to cover it. What's your question of the week, Chuck?
All right. So the F45 is going to throw a little bit of a wrench in things. Could be a wild card here at Florence. So
Okay.
do we see a repeat winner from 2024, or do we see a first-time winner on the season?
Butterbean's gonna win the race.
So a repeat winner.
Yes. I watched him put on a I mean wasn't a dominating performance because that's not the fashion of Butterbean at some of these high wear tracks, but I watched him put on a master class in the 2022 South Carolina 400. That's where I learned Butterbean's name, was that night. And I think he's gonna repeat that performance back on the old tire, and he's gonna put a whooping on him.
So I'm gonna say new winner.
New winner. Oh, Junebug gonna get him one. Yeah!
I genuinely think this is the time. It lines up perfectly. Dale Jr.'s winning this race.
Buy your tickets now, and when you're there,
Chuck said Junior's going to win. Buy them now before they sell out.
exactly. Buy your tickets now. Make sure if you are at Florence this weekend and you spot us, please say hello. And with that, I think that's all we got.
Also, say hello to Seth and compliment his shirt. You'll
Absolutely.
see that.
Yes. Wait, thank you. Please compliment Seth's shirt if you see his shirt. We will make sure you follow us on all our social media, Big Motor, Small Blade, see Folsom Racing, at the Buddy Pulley, any of that. We're going to have a lot of great content from Florence this weekend, as well as Darlington, on this channel. I can't wait for y'all to see Seth's shirt. Anyway, we'll see y'all after Florence. And as always, support your local short tracks.
Once again, don't forget to check out the Furrier tent down here for that
Look, guys, it's a trash panda.
Hurry up.
Championship point lead between Caden Honeycutt and Spencer Davis, and after an incredible effort by Caden Quapple, who will be behind the wheel of the number 8 once again tonight.
After a strong run in Wilkesboro, and Brandon Queen don't fret. Your team on the starting grid with further back from victory lane. Dave McKenzie is here. 125. Taking from number 9. The last car on the grid is going to be Landen Jr. Take 11 for your take lines. Again, I think a lot of drivers. Your championship points leader a little slow. To get the car righted. Let's take a look at next week's event, streaming live on Flow Racing. The Kubota High Limit Racing Series is 5 position. Process for Isabella. She's come back in a big way, fresh off a top 10 effort.
We are here, you're here, you worked so hard on this race.
This is truly a special win for me, my guys. It goes to show you how competitive this series is when you go look at qualifying and you see how
that I thought you could